Hey YouTube, this is Tom at TM Aquatics and I hope you're all doing great. In today's video, I'm going to show you some of the fry we have growing out here in the fish room at TM Aquatics, talk about some challenges and some possible changes coming up in the very near future. So stick around and check this one out. Alright YouTube, like I said, I've had a lot of people asking about some of the fry and grow outs currently here in the fish room at TM Aquatics, so I'm going to take you around, show you everything that we're currently growing out, talk about a couple of challenges, and also some possible changes coming up here in the very near future. Yes, more changes. But anyways, we'll go ahead and start with these 5 20-gallon tanks over here. These are all grow out tanks, and we'll start out with this first tank right here. Not a lot really going on in here other than super red bushy nose Plecos, and there's a few blue-eyed lemons in here like this one right here. But the bushy nose Pleco is the duckweed of the Pleco kingdom, and I'm thinking about selling all my breeding size bushy nose Plecos. The bushy nose really in my fish room is nothing more than part of the cleanup crew. It's not a species that I focus on. It's not a species that I really try and sell real hard. A couple of my LFSs that I like to go to really don't take these in as trade, so you can quickly get overwhelmed and overrun with bushy nose Pleco fry if you don't control it a little bit. And currently I have 4 tanks full of bushy nose Plecos, and I really need those tanks for some other species. So that leads me to some of the challenges and changes, and we'll touch on that here in just a little bit. Right next to the Super Reds, this here has about 50 green laser Corydoras fry. And these guys have really grown fast, and had I not suspended my shipping for the holiday season and really for all of the winter months, these would be ready to go. Now I did make a decision to suspend shipping for the winter months. The last day that I shipped out fish, I shipped out 6 orders of green laser Corys all on the same day. All 6 orders were packaged the same, they were prepared the same packaging, same everything. 5 out of the 6, not a single loss. The 6th box of fish, there were 10 green lasers. All of them arrived DOA. And I don't know what happened, if it was just a bad heat pack that got extinguished or burned out too quick, they got too cold. I don't know, it's just cold weather shipping with heat packs just offers too many variables that can go wrong, and with a loss of 10 fish like that, it's just not something I want to deal with. And we had a couple challenges last winter as well with a couple of shipments of L134 Leopard frog Plecos, and just with this recent green laser Cory shipment, I feel very comfortable that my decision was the right decision for me to suspend all shipping until weather warms up. So that being said, weather usually doesn't start improving here in Minnesota until maybe April, so it might be 3-4 months before I start shipping again. So I'm gonna probably have quite a few green laser Corys with that being said. So I do plan on attending a couple of the Quad City swaps, and maybe if the GCCA has another swap this winter, maybe I'll drive to Chicago and participate in that one. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to be doing the Quad City swap in Davenport, Iowa on February 9th. My brother and I will be sharing a table there where we'll have different types of Corydoras and Plecos available for sale. But anyways, enough on that. There's about, again, 50 green laser Corys in here. In this tank here, these are my Corydoras Sucis. These are not a fry. They're just kind of quarantined in here until I can find them a new home. Over here in this tank, I have Lamprologus ocellatus gold. There's one right there. But underneath the sponge filter, you might be able to see them hiding. There's 7 more. I have a total of 8 remaining. And then up in this fry box here, there's one right there, and then there's another one right there. I only have 2 fry in here. Now these 2 fry came from my breeding trio that I had in the 40-gallon breeder. However, I sold that breeding trio several weeks ago. I was down to just the 3, and they had spawned the day before, or not spawned the day before. They had a spawn hatch the day before I sold them. And when the gentleman came over to pick up his new trio of Ocellatus Gold, I tried to get the shell with all the babies, but 2 of the babies actually jettisoned out, and I didn't know where they went. So it is what it is. I did find them after the fact, after the tank was empty of the adults. I did find those 2 and put them in a fry box. I had 11 other Lamprologus ocellatus that I was holding back from some spawns that I had. So I have since restarted my breeding colony, and I think it's 3 males and 8 females, or there might be a sneaker male in here, I'm not sure. But definitely at least 3 males right here. There's one, here's another one here. And then this guy back here is one that I've been keeping around for a while. You'll notice his dorsal fin. He got in a fight when he was younger, and his dorsal fin got split, and it never grew back together. So that's not a specimen that I would ever sell. So nothing genetically wrong with him. Otherwise, he's a decent looking fish, so I'm keeping him. And then here's a little girl here. Here's a little nice looking female here. Another one here. Another female here. So I'm really excited to restart this colony, but they're not quite to breeding age yet. They're probably a couple months away yet anyways. But anyways, just thought I'd mention that is where these 2 fry came from, was the original breeding, the breeding trio that I had remaining out of my original breeding colony. So we'll grow them out and sell them off to whomever, whenever. Next door, this last 20-gallon tank, this one needs a water change big time. This one needs a water change bigly. Another group, a green laser Corydoras. And again, there's probably 55 to 60 or so in here. You can see they're a little bit smaller. They'll be a sellable size in probably another 2 to 3 weeks. And we have, again, more super reds in here. Actually, that's a blue-eyed lemon right there. So super reds and blue eyes in here as well. The water in this tank is just horrible. Doing a big water change as soon as I'm done making this video. So more green lasers over there. So now we're going to walk over here to the 55-gallon tank where I keep my L134 leopard frog Plecos. This is an active breeding colony, and I have been challenged with the leopard frogs this year. I've had 3 spawns that I've been able to grow out, or hatch rather. I've had probably 10 spawns now that have been eaten by one of the breeding males. But out of the 3 spawns that I've been able to snatch from his grips before he decided to eat the eggs, in the first spawn I only ended up with 4 fry that are in a 40-gallon tank right now growing out. This spawn here, I only have 3 that made it. I think I ended up having like 19 eggs hatch, and I just kept losing them. And these aren't even doing that good. They just are not growing at all. And I'm not quite sure what it is, but I do have a possible theory. There's something in the water. I don't know if it's a water quality issue. I do the same maintenance on this tank that I did last year, and I had no issues growing out L134s. I grew out over 100 L134 fry last year, and I had no issues. Once they hatched, very rarely did I have any die-offs. And this year, about 90% of the 2 spawns that I've hatched out and kept on in breeder boxes on this tank have died. So out of the 2 spawns, I think it was 19 and then 15. So I think it's 34, and I ended up with 7 out of 34. So I guess that's better than 90, better than 10%. But you know, that's a huge loss ratio that I've been seeing with these L134s this year. Again, 50% water change weekly, and anytime I see a pile of detritus or poo, I vacuum it out. The only difference this year versus last year is I have a ton of pothos growing up here. And as you can see, the roots are down in the water. Sorry for the glare and the reflection. But I have a bunch of roots in here, and I don't know if these are putting something in the water that is detrimental to the L134 leopard frog pleco fry. I've never heard of such a thing, but that's the only thing different. Otherwise, I might have more poo building up in here than I can visually see. I mean, I service the sponge filters, I service the hang-on back filter. I just don't know what is different this year versus last year, but I've only ended up with 7 so far. 3 of them are in the breeder box here, and then I'll try to turn slowly so I don't make anyone dizzy. We'll go over here, and this is my 40-gallon breeder grow out tank. There's actually one right there. I think that's one of this year's. There's actually about 30, believe it or not, L134s in here. But well, anyways, the other 4, the oldest 4 out of the first spawn that I had this year, they were moved over to this tank. They're thriving. They're doing fantastic. Now, with that being said, the last spawn of L134s, I put in the egg tumbler, and I tumbled them in this 5-gallon tank here in RO water. I have a good hatch, and these juveniles here, these fry, are already bigger than the other ones that were in the breeder box on the 55-gallon tank. I haven't had a single loss. So something is in the water on the 55-gallon tank that is causing these fish, or the fry, to die off. So from now on, I will take all the spawns from the L134s, I'll tumble them in a completely separate tank, and grow them out in a completely separate tank. I think there's like 13 or 14 or 15 in here, and they're all doing great. Again, I haven't had a single loss, and they're growing real nice, eating nice, etc. I'll be taking them out of the breeder box and putting them in the 5-gallon tank here pretty soon. Alright, so next we have these duplicarius juveniles. I didn't spawn these. These were spawned by my brother in his fish room. They're coming along real nice. They're getting bigger. They're starting to get a lot more color on their body. You can see a huge difference from the video I took of them just a week or week and a half ago. Most of these have their adult type coloration coming in now. Next to them, blue-eyed ancestris in this 10-gallon tank. Probably about 50 or 60 in here. I also have a couple of platinum angelfish, but I think I need to cull them. One has a gill cover that is a little deformed, and the other one has another deformity on one of its fins, so I might end up just culling those. But more ancestris that I really don't need here in the fish room. Next to them, these are my L160 Queen Arabesque Plecos, and these guys grow slow. The Picoltias, the L134 leopard frog Pleco, those grow much faster than these Hypancistris. There's 10 of them in here. They're all doing great. They're awesome looking fish. They're healthy, and there's 10 of them in here. These are again L260 Queen Arabesque Plecos. They're in this fry box here. And then down here in this red cave, I'm not going to shine in there, but you can see a male. You can see the tail of a male right there. He has a female trapped in there right now. And once they're done taking care of business, I think I'm going to let him keep the eggs. Now this was the first spawn that him and that female had ever had. And I removed the eggs and artificially, I tumbled them and then put them in the fry box here. I'm going to let him keep his eggs just so I can see what type of parent he makes. Because that would be, if he turns out to be a good parent, that's going to make life a lot easier on me. So anyways, don't want to shine too much in there. Also over here in this right there, that tail, that is the alpha male that likes to eat all the eggs, and he has a female trapped in there. I've been checking that cave frequently because I need to be Johnny on the spot when they're done taking care of business. I need to be Johnny on the spot or he's going to eat the eggs. So hopefully tonight or by tomorrow morning we'll have another spawn, and we'll remove them, bounce them in or tumble them in a separate tank, and then go from there. So anyways, with that being said, the only other fry that I have, I've got the red coral pencil fish in here. I still don't know if I only have the one fry or if I have two fry growing in here, but I do want these coral red pencil fish to spawn this winter. I want to try something a little different and get a couple of nice spawns from them. But that leads me to you know, an issue and reason for change here in the fish room. So down here, I should say, I also have probably like 4 different batches of super reds in here. I have my breeding pair in here, and they just keep spawning and keep kicking babies out, and I don't even know how many are in here because there's so much Java moss. This is where I keep my Corydoras cichlids as well, but there's so much Java moss in there, I don't even know how many fry are in there. So between this tank here, this tank over here that desperately needs a water change, this tank here, and this tank here, all 4 of those are filled with bushy-nosed Plecos. And I need them for L260s, more L134s, etc. So right now I am out of tank space, and I don't know what I'm going to do when the other Plecos start breeding. So I need more small tanks, more grow-out tanks, tanks to tumble eggs in, etc. So I am thinking about putting an extension or an addition onto this rack here. I would take 4 2x6s. I use 2x6s in all my construction. This is the only stand that I did not build, but it is 2x6 construction, so voila, there you have it. So I would take 4 2x6s for outside leg posts, and I would just bolt them on or screw them onto the existing legs, run them up, put some dado notches on with the cross support braces, and then I would be able to put 7 10-gallon tanks above these 40 breeders here. So I'd run the legs up and do a dado cut like this here. I notch it out, and then all that weight is transferred to the vertical support. The 2x6 span is more than enough to carry the weight, and it'd be quick and easy. I'd only need 6 2x6s and maybe about, I'm going to say, an hour, 2 hours max of time. And I would be able to, I'd have another shelf up here for 7 10-gallon tanks would fit. I've got air, I've got electricity over here, I've got my air, my closed loop air system has a drop right here, tap in some additional air valves there, and we would be set. So anyway, it's just something I'm thinking about and something I'm possibly going to go with. If I could get rid of all these these bushy-nosed Plecos, I'd probably have enough tank space. But anyways, just something I'm thinking about doing. So let me know what you think down below. Oh, I should point out, before we go, these things just keep spawning and spawning. You see on these 2 leaves there, there's just tons of angelfish eggs on this leaf here and then this leaf over here. I've got 2 pairs of pearl scale platinum angelfish, and they spawn like every other week. One of them spawning. So let me know if you think I should maybe grow out a batch or 2 when I get more tanks, that is. I suppose we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Appreciate everybody stopping and checking out my video, taking time out of your day to visit my channel. If you have any questions, please post them down below. Hit the like button on your way out. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Again, thanks for watching. Happy holidays to everybody. And until the next one, we'll catch you all later.